Today we're going to talk about how to graph a line when it's in standard form. So this equation in the box is in standard form, and it's because there's an x term with a whole number coefficient and a y term with a whole number coefficient equal to a constant. Okay, so if it's an x plus a y equal to something and they're all whole numbers, that's standard form. Okay, and so we're going to talk about a couple properties of this. And the first thing we're going to look at is, where does this blue line go across the graph? Well, it crosses the graph on the x-axis at -6, okay, and it crosses the y-axis at 4. Well, it's like, well, how on earth do we get that from that equation and be able to graph? So we're going to plug in 0 for y and see what we get. So when we plug in 0, it looks like this. So instead of a y, I'm going to put a 0. And so then 3 times 0 is 0. So this term, 3 times 0, just goes away. So we're just left with -2x on this side equals 12. Then we're going to divide both sides by -2 to get that x by itself. And we get x equals -6. Now do you notice here that x equals -6 and it crosses the x-axis at -6. Okay, we can do the same thing and plug in 0 for x and see what happens. So we're going to go -2 times 0 plus 3y equals 12. So we just replace the x from the original equation for 0. So that -2 times 0, anything times 0 is 0. So this term goes away and we're just left with 3y equals 12. We can divide both sides by 3, and we get y equals 4. Now again, notice that this y equals 4 is the same thing in the same place where it crosses the y-axis. So when a graph is in standard form, that's what we're going to do. We're going to set the terms equal to that other whole number. So we're going to do another one like that. Okay? So again, we have this graph, or this equation in standard form here. 2x plus 3y equals 18. So we're going to let x equal 0. And okay, so we can plug it in again and say 2 times 0 plus 3y equals 18. But really, this term goes away. So we don't even need that term. Whatever we're plugging 0 in for goes away. So we just have 3y equals 18. And divide by 3. And we get y equals 6. So it's going to be 0, 6 for the y-intercept, which is right here on the y-axis, because that's we solved for what y equals. And we're going to do the same thing here. Y equals 0 in the same equation. So remember the y term goes away. So we have 3x plus 3 times, or sorry, 2x, goodness. 2x plus 3 times 0 equals 18. So then we just have 2x equals 18, because this term goes away. And so we divide by 2, and we get x equals 9. So our x-intercept is at 9, 0, and so then we can draw a line in there. And we've taken that equation, plugged in zeros, figured out the x and the y-intercept, and then we can graph it. Okay? So we actually call this the cover-up method. Oh, I don't really want yellow, red. Cover-up method. And it's because essentially what we're doing is we're covering up each of the terms. So what I mean by that is if I take this like square and I actually cover up one term, that's the equation I'm going to solve first. I'm going to do 3x equals 36, divide by 3, x equals 12, so my x-intercept on that graph would be 12. And I'm going to cover up the other term, and I'm going to say, okay, now 6y equals 36. Divide by 6 on both sides and get y equals 6. Okay? And so that would be my y-intercept for that equation. I can do the same thing on the next one. Okay, I'm going to cover up this term first, and I'm going to do 2x equals 20. Divide by 2. Get x by itself and get x equals 10. Then I can cover up the other term and do negative 10 y equals 20. Divide both sides by negative 10. And I get y equals negative 2. So my x-intercept and my y-intercept. And then I could graph that equation. Okay? I'm going to do the last one, and I'm going to do it the same way, but I'm not actually going to use the box this time. I'm going to just say, okay, I have to do negative 4x equals 16 and 8y equals 16. Okay? I'm going to divide this by negative 4. And I get x equals negative 4. So that would be my x-intercept. And divide this one by 8. I get that my y-intercept is 2. And I could use that then to graph. Okay, so there is some practice graphs I would like you to do on the next page of the notes. So this was the whole first page of the notes, and I would like you to do the whole second page. And I have also posted the answers to that second page if you want to check your answers as you go, or just copy the first few down and then try the next ones. Okay, but I want you to do all of those graphs in standard form. Okay, there's 6 of them. And then do the assignment for standard form. Please let me know if you have questions.